Hey, that looks like everyone for now. So hello, everyone. My name is Darren, and I'm one of the marketing coordinators with BCIT's School of Health Sciences. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this information session for the Magnetic Resonance Imaging, or MRI program. First, I want to say how happy we are to see you all, and thank you for attending our presentation today. Just before we get going, I want to say that the British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam. Our agenda for tonight is going to be welcome and introductions. We're going to do one quick poll, and then we'll go through the presentation and program overviews. We'll have some program advising information, and then we'll do live questions and answers at the end, and hopefully you'll have some good questions. So just before I introduce our main presenter, Ray Lee, I'm just going to pull up a poll question, and I'm hoping you can all see that. And what does a patient have to wear when they get an MRI? A helmet, a lead apron, earplugs, or protective eyewear? I'm going to share the results. And then it is my pleasure to introduce Ray Lee, the program head for the MRI program. Take it away, Ray.
Perfect. Thank you, Darren. Just once again, a warm welcome to everyone this afternoon to our MRI info session. Sorry if I sound a little nasally. I'm just fighting some allergies, but hopefully everything that's coming across is nice and clear. So just to go back to the poll, the answer is earplugs. Our patients require a lot of hearing protection while they are in the MRI room. While the machine is scanning, it is quite loud. So to protect the patient's ears, we usually give them earplugs and also a set of headphones to help protect their hearing, as they can be in there for half an hour up to 2 hours for their exam. So just jumping into exactly what is MRI. If you don't know what MRI is an imaging modality that is used in medicine to answer many different questions. And the number of applications is growing as the technology progresses. Because this modality is considered a baby compared to some of the other medical imaging modalities such as X-ray or CT. There's the ever-evolving technology with MRI is coming every year. So it's a very kind of up-and-coming imaging modality. The MRI itself is a machine that consists of a very strong magnetic field, which is cooled down to minus 269 degrees Celsius to align the protons in your body. And radio frequencies are then deposited into the patient's body to energize the protons. The protons then relax and they emit a signal that is captured by an antenna, and then we get our MRI images. Just to give you an idea of how the strength of a standard MRI machine, it's about 66,000 times more than the Earth's magnetic field. So what exactly can an MRI machine do? So what it does is that it produces sectional anatomy in any spatial direction. Sorry, Darren, if you just go to the next slide there. So what that means is that we can look at images of the body in different angles. And so that gives us a really good idea of where certain things are in the body in spatial directions. Some major applications includes neural studies, so anything to do with the brain or the spine. If we're looking for inflammation or pathologies, cancers, joints, when we're looking at muscles and things like that, ligaments and tendons are really well visualized in MRI. And also one thing that is also greatly visualized is also blood vessels and heart studies. So one of the major perks or pros of the MRI imaging modality is that it does not use any ionizing radiation to acquire the MRI images. So it's fairly safe for both the patients and the MRI technologist in terms of being in a safe environment where you're not exposed to ionizing radiation. So to give you an example of what an MRI image actually looks like, We do have a slide where we have a picture of a neck. So we'll go over to that slide there. So on the left, we have a normal sideways or sagittal view of your neck, your upper neck, or your cervical spine. And then on the right side, we have a same picture of that neck region, but then there's a pathology that is located on the picture. So just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, we do have 7 cervical vertebrae. And then right behind the vertebrae, you have your spinal cord. So if you count down on the right side, down the vertebrae, you should see a little bump there that's impinging a part of the spinal cord. So that's what we call a disc herniation. So we get really high spatial resolution pictures in MRI, and we can visualize different tissues in different ways. In different shades of gray for us to look at pathology really nice and clear. So this is just one example of what an MRI image looks like. So the next question is, how do we make these MRI images? So we require 3 things. We need the patient, which will give us the abundance of protons to make up our image. We have our radio frequencies that will help interact with those protons and help them emit energy. And then we have that strong magnetic field, which is where the patient lays into, and that helps align the protons in the patient's body. So just to give you an idea of how powerful of a magnet we're dealing with is on this diagram, we have the Earth's magnetic field. The magnetic field in MRI is measured in Tesla, which is a very, very big unit of measurement. So when we're talking about the Earth's magnetic field, we are looking at 45 microtesla, which is 0.000045 Tesla. The standard fridge magnet is about 10,000 microtesla, or 0.01 Tesla. Our standard clinical MRI machine that you'll find in most hospitals today are at 1.5 Tesla, which is about 33,000 times of the Earth's magnetic field. A lot of modern or more up-to-date or the magnets that are being installed in hospitals now are going up to 3 Tesla, which is about 66,000 times the Earth's magnetic field. And then into the research realm of MRI research, we have the 7 Tesla machine, which is about 150,000 times of the Earth's magnetic field. So it is quite powerful. Some of you may have read in the news a month or 2 ago about a man dying in Brazil when he accompanied a family member into the MRI room with a concealed loaded gun in his waistband. So what happened is that the person with the loaded gun walked into the MRI room where he did not disclose that he had anything metallic on him. And then the gun went off. I guess the firing pin was attracted to the magnet, and then ended up shooting the person, and they ended up dying. So when we're talking about the strength of a magnetic field, very small items such as pins, paper clips, those go flying into the machine. So you can imagine what happens if you bring in something a little bit larger than that, and how fast it would, and how strongly it would be attracted to that magnet. So on the next slide, we're going to go over where these MRI machines are located. So just to give you an idea of where you can find employment or where they are, we have them in hospitals, clinics, and also in mobile units. Specifically in these areas, you're always going to find the MRI machine or the MRI department on the ground floor, just because of the weight of the magnetic coils, the cooling system, and the big magnet. Most MRI machines weigh about 4 to 7 tons. So that's why just structural wise, you'll always find these departments always plan to be on the ground floor of the hospital and not near the top of it. Okay, so now that I've given you a nice overview of what MRI actually is, we're going to discuss your options of how to become an MRI technologist and how BCIT can kind of give you that pathway into this profession. So we have 2 program pathways. We have an advanced certificate, which we'll discuss first. So these are this program is going to be for those who are already working in an imaging modality. So if you are a sonographer, if you work in X-ray, nuclear medicine, or radiation therapy, then this is your way to advance your skills, become dual modality trained, which is really good in terms of having flexibility in your work life. And this program is done through an online part-time program. After that, we will discuss our diploma program, which is our in-person full-time diploma program, which is 2 years in length. And this is for students or applicants who may not have previous healthcare experience. So this program is geared for those who may be entering out of high school or with some post-secondary education, and obviously not in healthcare, that would like to get into the healthcare setting and become an MRI technologist. So firstly, we're going to discuss the MRI Event Certificate. So is the MRI Event Certificate for you? So if you are interested in advancing your career, like I said, you are already working in the hospital or a clinic as an imaging technologist. If you want something new, the MRI route is very appealing. If you're able to work independently or as part of a team, that is a strong asset to have in terms of becoming a successful MRI technologist. And if you're able to work under pressure as well. So as previously stated, you'll need a diploma or a degree in nuclear medicine, medical radiography, sonography, or radiation therapy. And you'll also require active registration and membership with the CAMRT or Sonography Canada. And the last thing is that since you will also be in that really strong magnetic field environment, not just only the patient, but yourself, you will have to fill out our MRI safety screening form to ensure that you are also safe to be in that really strong magnetic field environment. So to give you a quick overview of what the Event Certificate program is that it is a part-time online program. This includes a 16-week clinical rotation at one or two of our partner sites. In terms of the didactics, there are 6 online courses, and you can also continue on to complete a Bachelor's of Health Science through BCIT with combining your diploma or degree in a previous healthcare program, plus the MRI Event Certificate. There are 7 courses that you can do at BCIT, once again, at an online part-time basis in order to complete your Bachelor's of Health Science. And for the next year and a half, there is also a bursary through the Ministry of Health that has partnered up with BCIT to help graduate MRI technologists at a quicker rate. That is available to those students who are nearing the end of the Event Certificate program, where they provide monetary funds to help you finish your last couple of theory courses and to get you through your clinical term and your certification exam. So they'll cover those costs. In terms of the additional entrance requirements for the Event Certificate, you will need English, so 2 years of education in English in an English-speaking country with a 67% mark, or 3 credits from a post-secondary institute, once again in the English course. And then once again, the diploma or degree that is required from medical radiography, nuclear medicine, sonography, or radiation therapy. So these are just the academic entrance requirements. And then some of the non-academic entrance requirements that are also required was that previously mentioned MRI screening form, just to make sure that you are safe to work in the MRI environment, and that you also need the active registration with the CMRT or Sonography Canada or the ARDMS. So in terms of our start dates for the Event Certificate, we do have 3 intakes per year, and we have these breaking down into 3 terms. So we have our winter term that starts in January, our spring term that starts in April, and then our fall term, which starts in September. The theory courses are 12 weeks in length, with the clinical term once you get there at 16 weeks in length. The application period is really all year round, but we do have the start dates of the both of those 3 terms that you see on the screen there for January, April, and September. You do have 3 years to complete the Advanced Certificate program, but it is recommended that you do finish within 2. And you will be registering into your 16-week clinical after completing your last theory course, but it is highly recommended that if you do need to take a break, that you do take just 1 term off and you complete your clinical term within 2 terms of completing your last theory course. So the admissions process for the Advanced Certificate is that you will submit your complete application to BCIT, and admissions will review your application to ensure that you meet all requirements. Entry into the Advanced Certificate is on the first qualified basis, and there are limited seats. So if you meet the requirements and a seat is available, then you will be offered a seat. So what the admissions team does after reviewing your application is that it will forward your application to the MRI departments, and then we will review your documents, and then we will send the OK to admissions, and admissions will then send acceptance letters to the applicants, and then this is when you will pay your commitment fee. So once your seat is offered, in order to hold your seats, then you'll have to pay the commitment fee, and then you'll be informed through an electronic letter from the BCIT's admissions department. Okay, so that concludes our Advanced Certificate. If you have any questions, we can answer them at the end during our Q&A. We'll switch our focus now to the MRI Diploma Program, which had just started this January, so January 2023. So our first cohort had just finished up their first term, and they're now moving on to their spring term, so it's very exciting. So to give you a broad overview of what our MRI Diploma is that it is a 2-year full-time on-campus program. It consists of 1 year of academics on campus and 1 year of clinical placements. So you get a lot of time out of clinical to tie in your didactics to clinical practice, which is great. So you'll end up graduating from the MRI Diploma Program being very competent and ready to enter the workforce. Clinical placements are offered around BC. So if you're on this call and you're not from the Lower Mainland, maybe you're from the interior or on the island, we do have clinical partners and are able to do clinical placements outside of the Lower Mainland, maybe where you reside. So the clinical terms that you'll have to do would be hopefully closer to home. And this MRI Diploma Program is only available to BC residents only. So some of the program details for this is we have a start date of our next cohort, January 2024. So if you're on this call and you've applied, just to give you a little bit of background, is that we are going through the applications shortly. So if you have applied for that January 2024 start and you haven't heard back, we will have the application decision soon. So we'll maybe talk about the next intake then, which would be then January 2025. So the application period for this cohort will be the beginning of January of 2024. So it is quite a bit a ways from now, but it gives a lot of time for applicants to look at those academic prerequisites or entrance requirements, which we'll go over in a couple of slides. And if you don't have them currently, it gives you a lot of time to kind of work on those and to kind of strengthen your application for that application period for the start date of January 2025. So just to touch upon the application steps of this diploma program, because it is slightly different than the Advanced Certificate. It is an online application. So once the application opens, you can go ahead and log in and look at your online application and continue to add to that. You can work on filling out the application at your own pace. It does not go to admissions until you pay the application fee. The date that you apply doesn't have an impact on your application as well. You have until the application deadline to submit your application. So don't worry about getting your application in January 3rd. If the deadline is in May, then you have right up to May to go ahead and submit that complete application. What will you do is that we'll review your requirements and the application dates. You're going to convert all your documents into PDF files. You're going to complete the Casper snapshot if that's required, and other forms and mandatory questionnaire. And then you're going to apply to bcit.ca. So like I said, it's all done online. All the information of the what is required for a complete application is found on the program website as well. In regards to the application process, like I said, it would be a good idea to just review all the entrance requirements that are required and what the application processing dates are, or what the deadline dates are. For the January 2025 start, there will be lots of time to do upgrading if necessary. BCIT does offer also upgrading courses in a lot of the subjects that are required in order to apply for the MRI Diploma Program. Program assistant can also assist with any questions you have around that. Just make sure that when you're ready to apply online, that you just note that the application fee for domestic students is $90 Canadian, and that everything is completely online. So some of the academic entrance requirements, as you see, are going to be very different than the Advanced Certificate program because it's geared towards a different audience. Is that we would like English Studies 12, so that would be, and all courses require 73% or higher mark, or 3 credits of post-secondary English. We require Pre-Calculus 12 at 73%, or the equivalent post-secondary with 3 credits. Physics 12, 73%, and Anatomy and Physiology 12 at 73%. And once again, post-secondary education is always welcomed as long as they are an approved equivalent to the grade 12 courses. And some of the non-academic requirements, so similarities to the Advanced Certificate, is that we will need that MRI safety screening form to be completed. And then a couple of additional forms that are just for the diploma program is that there's a physical and program requirements form, which just outlines the physical nature of the work that we do, and that you are aware that for your clinical sites, that you may be required to travel for some of these placements. And then a mandatory application questionnaire just gives us a little bit of insight of who you are. Just asks some very general questions. It's a 2-page form. Just to give us an idea of who you are outside of the interview process or the Casper and snapshot that we require. And the last piece is that Casper computer-based assessment and snapshot. So this is done through a third party that's not affiliated with BCIT. So you will have to go to that website, register for an exam sitting, and then those results will then be sent over to BCIT. But this is a requirement to get into the program, which falls under the non-academic requirements. So if you have any questions about what Casper is, you can Google Altus assessments, and then you can visit the website for more information, and it will also provide you right dates that are available that will be submitted to the BCIT MRI program. So the next piece is just transcripts and documents. This also goes for the Advanced Certificate. So just make sure to upload your digital copies because this is purely an online process. So just make sure to scan or take a picture of your transcript and upload it into your application. If you have any questions around this, we have a lot of different services that can really help you kind of guide your way to getting a complete application done. So program advising would be a great place to contact if you have any questions of how to navigate the online application process. We just ask that you obviously upload all your required documents to have a complete application, because if your application is not complete, unfortunately, we can't process it. So just make sure you're well aware of everything that is required from the program standpoint in order to have a complete application. The admissions process is quite similar to the Event Certificate in a sense where admissions will review the application before forwarding it to the MRI department for us to review. This program is quite competitive in terms of its entry. So on the program website, you may want to look at the entrance requirements section, where there is a short listing section where it'll state a few things that will make your application stand out and strengthen your application. So just make sure to kind of look at that piece of the website when going through the admissions process and getting your application together. So same as the Event Certificate, we will review your complete application, and then admissions will send acceptance letters to those applicants. If needed, we'll have a wait list, and then that's when you'll be required to pay your commitment fee in order to hold your seat in the program. In terms of the cohort size, because I don't think we covered that yet, it is a 12-seat cohort, so it is quite a small program. So in terms of its competitive entry nature, we are looking at 3 to 4 applicants per seat for this January 2024 start. We had about 3 applicants to 1 seat for our January 2023 start. So we are considered a competitive entry program at BCIT. So like I was saying, if you are interested in starting in January 2025, and you are missing some of your prerequisites, maybe you are missing some of those shortlisting criteria pieces that are listed on the program website, it would be a great idea and a good time to get started on some of those items now in order to have a very strong application. So in terms of career outlook, MRI technologists are in high demand, just like anything else in healthcare right now. The field is constantly expanding because we are a new imaging modality, as previously stated, compared to some of the other modalities out there. So there's an urgent need for MRI technologists in BC. As of this month, throughout BC, there are over 30 postings right now that are unfilled. So it's a great time to get into the program now, not having to go through a different modality, which is what it was previous to this January. You would have to go through X-ray or nuclear medicine, sonography for the 2-year program first, and then get into MRI for another 2 years. So it would generally take MRI technologists about 4 years of education to get into the profession. So with the MRI Diploma, now it's cut that time in half. So it's a 2-year program now. So it's a great time to get into this program, spend a quick 2 years here at BCIT with us, and then jump right into the healthcare setting, into a profession that has a lot of need and a lot of openings for technologists. So what we're going to jump into is we have some testimonials. So I'm going to let Darren play a video from Harmon, who is a recent MRI Event Certificate graduate.
Hello everyone, my name is Harmon and I'm a recent graduate of the MRI program at BCIT. I just wanted to take this time to share a couple things about the program. First and foremost, I liked how each module and course was set up as a building block towards your clinical session and ultimately becoming an MRI technologist. As a practicing MRI technologist, I really enjoy working with a vast diversity of people from neonates to geriatrics, especially in finding a diagnosis for their symptoms or their disease. I hope this little snippet helps you in your journey in becoming an MRI technologist. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, and I believe Harmon also had written something for us, so we can go to that slide and maybe just give a quick minute for everyone to read it. All right, so if it's okay to move on to just the last testimonial, I'll let Darren just change the slide when he thinks it's good. So the next person is Cassidy. So once again, she's also an MRI Event Certificate graduate. She is also an X-ray technologist. Cassidy also recently graduated from the program earlier this year. She wrote her CMRT certification exam and she actually had the top exam mark for that January, right, across Canada. So as BCIT and the Teaching Institute, we're quite proud of Cassidy's achievement. So we'll give, once again, just a quick minute for everyone just to read Cassidy's testimonial. Okay, Darren, so I think that's the end of my piece. So when you think it's a good time, I'll let you go over the next few slides.
Okay, thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate that. And thank you for all that great information and the wonderful delivery. Okay, and now moving from the academics, I would like to let you know that BCIT is committed to supporting students in a holistic sense. And we want you to succeed not only in your academics, but also outside of school. Some of the student services are available to you as a prospective student, and others will be available once you become an enrolled student. And here's some of the important student supports that I'd like to mention. If you are Indigenous, BCIT's Indigenous Initiatives Department is there for you to ensure a smooth transition into your first year. They offer peer-to-peer mentorship, a welcoming gathering place, and provide clarification on Indigenous funding. BCIT's awards, scholarships, and bursaries are listed on our financial aid and awards webpage. And I would like to mention that we have a President's Entrance Award, and selection is based on academic achievement, but also volunteer and community service. So please contact financial aid directly for more information on the President's Entrance Award. BCIT is committed to providing assistance to students with permanent or temporary disabilities. If you have been accepted to a program and believe you may need accommodation to be successful, I encourage you to connect with our Accessibility Services Department. BCIT Student Health Services is a health clinic located on the Burnaby campus, and they provide medical care for current BCIT students all year round. We also have a counseling and student development department available to help you enhance your educational performance and maximize your success as a student at BCIT. And last but not least, our recreation services promotes, encourages, and enables the practice of physical well-being. And we consider recreation an integral part of campus life and welcome all students to enjoy their services. And I'd like to mention that you shouldn't hesitate to contact program advising if you have any questions or unsure of something. They're available to answer questions regarding entrance requirements, the application process, student resources, success strategies, program schedules, and many other details as well. They are available to assist you on specific days by telephone, email, or by in-person or virtual appointments. And please go to the website, bcit.ca/advising, for their most up-to-date contact information and service hours. If your inquiry is time sensitive, please call during their telephone advising hours, and this is the best option to get your questions answered quickly. One more thing I'd like you to all be aware of, and please connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or LinkedIn. These are all health sciences related, and you can also learn more, of course, on the bcit.ca website about tours. Spend a Day is supposed to be coming back. That should be good. Big info is always exciting, and more info sessions like this one. And plus bcit.ca/advising to help you out. And that brings us to our questions and answers. Now I see there's been a lot going on in the chat, but I have not been able to keep track of that. Maggie, do you know if there's anything there for Ray in particular?
Yes, actually, there's quite a few questions for Ray. So I'm just going to scroll back to the top and start going in order. If that's okay. I responded to a lot along the way, but there was a few that were program specific. So Ray, Patty asks, how physics intensive is MRI?
Yeah, physics is sort of the building blocks of this profession and the program. So there is quite an emphasis on physics itself, because I was kind of scrolling up and down. I think Patty asked about how much maybe of a role that an MRI technologist has in terms of when the scanning is happening. And there's a huge involvement with the MRI technologist in terms of scanning There are sequences and exams that are set, but the MRI technologist is largely responsible for changing imaging parameters, and that's where the physics knowledge kind of comes into play. So we do try to place a big weight on physics, and there are 2 physics classes within the program matrix of the both the Advanced Certificate program and the Diploma program.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. So Josh has asked, if I get accepted to the program, I'm assuming the diploma they're referencing, how can I advance to become a radiologist?
Okay, so the radiologist is actually a different profession altogether. So the radiologist is actually the doctor that reads the images that an MRI technologist or an X-ray technologist would take. So if you're looking to become a radiologist, it would actually be a completely different kind of academic pathway to get there, which would involve med school and all that other stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, that would be different than jumping into the MRI Diploma Program.
Awesome, thank you. And Rebecca asked, and I also wasn't sure, Ray, regarding the 2024 intake. There said there was a second round online, but Rebecca was asking, have the 12 spots of the diploma program already been filled up from the first round? So is the second round still going on till September, or has that been now sort of closed off early?
Yeah, so to kind of vaguely answer that question in a very gray area, is that our application window did close. I